Oh, that was, I didn't mean to click that. That's all right. Moving
How's it
straight into
going?
the next segment. I was trying to cut Poseidon, but he cut himself quickly. Bo, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Really appreciate it. For those who don't know, Bo works very closely with, I'm sure, people that you would know, Insane, who's quite a vocal and great proud member of the Zed community. And you worked with him closely into figuring out what actually happened here. That's right.
Yeah. So, my interest was preventing it from happening to me or anyone else, right? And so, did a lot of analysis. Actually, submitted a security report to Discord because we initially thought that Discord was one avenue through which this hack occurred. It's our best bet right now is that this was a hole in iOS on the Apple iPhone that was just patched in the recent security update. So it was a hole in Safari, mobile Safari specifically on the iPhone, and uh, unsure if Discord was also implicated, like if it was a kind of a two-step vulnerability. But this was a relatively sophisticated attacker, so they took down their site immediately after it was successful, so that nobody else could see how they did it. The interesting thing for me here is that Zed is now a target, right? This was a very purposeful attempt to gain trust in a member of the Zed community, and to kind of intrigue or entice them with promises of some inside knowledge or information about how Zed works. Definitely, I think it's important to take a look at operational security and just familiarize yourself with what you can do to avoid something like this, as an individual or as part of the community at large. So, I mean, the first thing is to keep all of your devices up to date. Like I said, this vulnerability, the one we believe it is was fixed in the latest version of iOS, and that's often what happens. Attackers will find a new vulnerability, and there's a narrow window where they can exploit it before it gets updated. So you can actually make yourself much safer if you update as soon as those updates are available. And in fact, on the iPhone, you can turn on an option that automatically installs security updates, which is probably one of the safest things you can do. Similarly, Mac OS or Windows, ensure those are up to date. If you see the little alert in Chrome in the top right that says, you're out of date, you should update. Like that could actually, doing that update when it pops up could actually save you your horses or your Ethereum or your other crypto, because those are the types of there are often security updates bundled with regular application updates, and those are exactly what attackers are trying to use to exploit and steal your crypto. So staying up to date is one of the best things you can do. Similarly, Discord auto updates, but if you have it on your laptop and you leave it open for weeks at a time, just quitting and relaunching every once in a while, you'll get the latest updates, because Discord has had what they call remote code execution vulnerabilities before. That is one avenue that people can use to exploit you. And similarly, Android, make sure you're on the latest version. If you have an old phone and they've stopped making over-the-air updates for it, that in itself is a vulnerability. So don't use Metamask on a phone that is no longer receiving security updates, because you make yourself very vulnerable in that regard. And in terms, I think there's also some, there are a lot of people who got into Zed as maybe their first foray into crypto and aren't necessarily aware of the kind of what your private key is, or that it's unchangeable, right? So if you set up MetaMask on your phone or on your computer, you set a password, right? And that's your password to unlock MetaMask. But what you're unlocking is a private key, and that private key doesn't change and can't change. It's not like a password you can change. So if someone gets that, it's game over. Really at that point, it's just kind of it's a race against time, because if they get your private key, they're going to try and transfer everything in your account out, you may be able to save some of it, but there's no like password reset. There's no customer service that you can talk to. It's in crypto using MetaMask, you're kind of on your own. And especially with the kind of stance Zed seems to have taken in this instance, which is kind of buyer beware. So it's important to know
So
yeah.
A couple of questions that I have for you that I've been sort of sitting on. One is my first one is, if I have clicked a link accidentally over the past couple of months, am I still at risk or am I safe?
You know, it's hard to say. But you could create a new wallet. You could transfer all your stuff to that wallet. You could change your stable name to that new wallet instead, and then you would know at least that you would be safe from that point forward. Because you're basically assuring that only you have that private key going forward. If you're at all worried, if you've been clicking things willy-nilly, don't wait to find out that somebody's been kind of lying in wait, right? Like definitely, create a new stable, create a new a MetaMask address, and transfer your horses to it. That's that may, if that saves one person and all the rest are doing it and they don't need to, then that's probably a good outcome.
My next question, and this is something that I just simply do not understand enough of, and I apologize if I'm asking a silly question, but my first thought is, and I think it actually was answered maybe a little bit later, that it's not a possibility, but is there something that as a Zed Run, as a community as a company can do? It will to, like 2FA on transferring horses, have anything to do with this stopping, and if it's even a possibility? Because a lot of people go, can't you just do that? But my understanding that they're on Matic and they can just do it anyway.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a nuanced answer. If you have an email and password account, then two-factor might help for transfers, because Zed controls that private key. That is one instance where two-factor would help. If you log in with MetaMask, then two-factor doesn't actually do anything, because they don't have to use Zed's site to transfer horses. They can call the contract directly, and there's currently no easy way to do any type of two-factor auth with an Ethereum contract. Once somebody has your private keys, they have anything in that account. There's currently no two-factor in Solidity contracts, which are what the Zed contracts are written in.
My number one question for you, and this is something that the community is going to have to make a decision on, but for me, I'm looking at pros and cons of having MetaMask on my phone right now. If you were to delete MetaMask, does this stop this ever happening from your phone?
Unless you've also stored your private key on your phone in some other format, which some people do. Like some people just like throw it in a notes file on their phone, thinking that like
don't do that.
Right. Yes, it would. I believe it would stop the vast majority of this type of attack. If you only use MetaMask on your PC and you practice good hygiene on that PC, then that's certainly an option. It's definitely kind of made me think twice about having MetaMask on my phone. I actually installed MetaMask, I think, on my phone 2 weeks ago, because majority of my use is on the PC. It definitely gave me pause.
And it's something that I'm considering now as well, and I probably will delete it. And you have to look at pros and cons on not being able to enter races from your mobile.
Yeah.
And I think that the pro versus con there sort of does definitely outweigh it, in my opinion. For those that are using PCs right now, I think that I'm creating a good hygiene here. I'm probably not. Is there some top tips and tricks you can sort of suggest on how we keep safe on our PC? As just some top level stuff, assuming that we're coming from zero.
Yeah. So a couple of the tips I think apply specifically to Discord. There are two settings that would be useful to set. One is to disallow DMs from server members, and two is to allow Discord to scan links that get sent to you.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the default is for that, but I've changed it to the max. But so what happens if you disallow DMs from server members is that if somebody does want to DM you, they're going to add you as a friend, and that gives you an opportunity to say like, oh, do we have friends in common? And like you can be really paranoid and say like, I'm actually going to DM somebody we have in common to be like, yo, who is this person? Are they legit? And I think part of the, I don't want people to be super paranoid, but practice a useful level of paranoia. Definitely like ask people if they trust somebody who's coming to you with some offer of either, hey, I want to trade horses, or check out my new tool, or like join this new Discord. Because as we've seen, people will wrap something nefarious in a Discord link because people are like, oh yeah, I'm in 100 Discords. What's one more? Not realizing that that's an attempt to exploit them.
And in terms of something that I have been thinking about of late, and it was only until yesterday when I was in the Pony Plug chat, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was Schwab. Who said it? Someone from Gamebred. He's like, sent me a link. I'm like, not clicking it, bro. He's like, what, you don't trust me? I'm like, what if your Discord was hacked? And then Stanley's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, now it's hacked Stanley's. Like, I don't want to live in this world of paranoia of clicking links. It's so important. How can we see if a link is trustworthy? And is there something that we can do with our links moving forward to be able to use them? But is there a tip or trick that you can sort of give out?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different things. What I would really love to see is a community effort to collect scam links, and then some Discord bots that automatically flag things that are scams, right? Because in a scenario where a company like Zed is like, we're hands off, we're decentralized. It's on you to be secure and kind of be aware of what being secure means. I think the community can provide really useful tools there. So just if you see a scam link, or just a service to say like, yo, can somebody look at this for me? I'm not equipped to look at it safely. But some things you can do to look at links safely are, for example, to like if you have your MetaMask tied to your Chrome, to open something in like Firefox incognito mode, and that way you can see if it's legit or not. Now, if there is a vulnerability in Firefox, for example, though, that doesn't necessarily help you there. So the real answer is, if you want to be as safe as you can be, is basically to have to start a VM where you open this link in, so that even if it bricks your VM, your virtual machine, it's not going to do anything to your actual computer. So that's like at the kind of upper level of that's paranoia.
The next level.
Yeah. But I think a community-based tool for flagging scam links. And
we might have a chat about that on my Discord, which would be fantastic offline, and I'll set up a commission to get that done for you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
And then the flip side of that is allowing known good links. So like, allow links to Zed, allow links to the Zed Discord, allow links to all the various stats-based tools for Zed, and then anything else is kind of like, be a little suspicious of until it's built up trust.
Yeah. And there's two more things before I let you go. We are going over, but I think this is really, really important information. So sorry for that, mate. There's been something that's come in here that as, how do you verify it's actually the person and not an imposter? I mean, obviously there's the 4 numbers on the name. Is there any other way that you can sort of verify that you are speaking to the correct person that you're trying to speak to?
That's a tough one, because if I say yes, then somebody's going to get their Discord hacked, sure. and you're not going to know. You know what I mean? So that's a very tough one. You can also, like, if you're a Discord Nitro member, you can change those 4 numbers. So like I can grab your name and change to the 4 numbers that are like, 1 digit off, and kind of impersonate you that way. So there are definitely things to kind of watch out for. And yeah, I feel like they're if you're worried that somebody is going to get impersonated, out of band, right? Like so off Discord, ask them to verify through Discord, like, hey, send me this, thing that only we know. It's kind of old school spy stuff, but that's one way. Yeah, you use something that's not Discord to verify that you're talking to the right person on Discord. But there may be some improvements on that we could talk about, but I'll have to do some more research there for you.
The local boys just put through, Twitter's obviously going to be a great platform there. Potentially what you could do out there if you're listening to this is have your Twitter link in your name or in your profile and have that person reach out. Make sure that is obviously the right person. I mean, you can be an imposter on Twitter as well. But it's just, there's everything that we're talking about here is trying to make it as safe as possible. Is it ever going to be completely safe? I'm not sure. So, and I don't think so, but these are all tips and tricks on what you can do. When someone sends me a link now, I actually copy the text. Obviously, I look for any sort of hidden, we might talk about that in a second, hidden sort of things to look for, like .rp, whatever it is. Anything that has a .3 letters after, I'm very, cautious of. But if I was to then use a link, I would copy the text of the link and then put it into another web browser that wasn't connected to anything. I'm going to start using Metamask. Is that the best way forward, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, if the link is trying to exploit a vulnerability in a specific browser, then it doesn't necessarily matter if you click it or copy and paste it or use Firefox or Chrome if the vulnerability is for one of those browsers, even if you're in incognito mode, even if you're in a different profile that's not attached to your MetaMask. So if it looks like somebody is offering you something too good to be true, that's when I start to get really paranoid, where I'm like, okay, this link, I might want to see what it is, but I'm going to do it safely. So I'm going to do it in a virtual machine so that it can't brick my actual computer or can't exploit my actual computer. Those, like ideally, we would have a way to forward those on to a Discord bot where a human can look at it and be like, oh yeah, this is totally a scam, or oh, this is actually not a scam. This person might have seemed scammy, but they sent you a real link. I think that community effort is going to become an important part of preventing these types of scams from flourishing.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to set that up in my Discord.
Nice.
We'll get that going 100%. Now, virtual machine, is there anything that you recommend that doesn't sort of that's not too tech savvy or doesn't eat up a lot of RAM or, CPU or anything like that?
It's definitely more of an advanced type of thing. There is a website, what is it called? Browserling, I think, where they'll give you like 2 minutes of time on a browser that's running in the cloud somewhere. So you could paste a link into that. It's going to load in that browser in the cloud. And then you're going to see if it's real or not. So that's the kind of like easiest, least tech savvy way to do that.
What was that called?
I believe it's called Browserling. Browser Ling. And let me just make sure that that's the Browserling. There's a couple of different competitors there. It's basically for being able to test your code in different versions of browsers. But yeah, in a pinch, you can use it for free to check if a link is going to blow up your computer or not.
This is great timing to lose audio, isn't it? I can see you can hear me, so it's not your headphones. It might be something to do with your input. I'm not sure. No. Awesome. Not sure what to do here. Maybe try jumping out and back in. It's an odd one. We'll get this. Turn it off and on again. That's my tech support helpline. It's what I go to every single time. Look, I doubt he's being hacked. This guy is probably he's up there with insane and some of the smartest people. He's probably got a lot of security measures in there. I think we would probably be seeing me getting hacked before him. Let's see if that's fixed it.
Testing.
We're back
All right,
on.
I switched computers entirely. So
Oh, there we go. Everyone's like, "Has he been hacked?" I'm like, "I don't know if this guy's hackable."
well, that's the thing. When you let your guard down, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking about what to look for if you use a virtual machine or a website like Browserling.
Right. Right. Yeah. So it depends on the links that people have gone to make it look real or not. In this case, he saw a white screen, and so they basically, they didn't try to make it look real at all. But because Zed seems to have become a target, people may go to further links. They may try and hide something behind a semi-working, something that looks like it's giving you stats or odds. So that's a hard question to answer. Certainly, if it doesn't load and they give you some excuse, oh, try again, like maybe that's more scammy. But we may see people make a kind of half-working, crappy site as a way to kind of lure you in further. That's I think trust is going to be an important component here. Like talk to anyone else you know. Have you used this? Like did they steal from you? Are they a known member of the community, or like why is this complete stranger DMing me first about this new tool and not anyone else, or not showing it in public? So that's where that kind of scam link system is going to come in handy.
Right. It's what are the ends of the, while we're waiting for Jeeves to come on, he hasn't popped on anyway, so I hope you don't mind me just having
no problem,
this chat at all. If you need to go, please do let us know. But what are the prefixes that we need to look for in terms of links to definitely stay away from, or is there any sort of
I don't know if there's a I don't know if there's a good list and a bad list there, because people can make things that look very convincing,
okay.
right? I can go register any convincing looking domain and throw up my vulnerability there. So you can't always rely on them looking scammy or not. Some things are definitely going to look scammier than not, though. So some things are going to be more obvious, but I feel like if you're at all uncertain, then opt not to until you see it get some wider uptake in the community, or somebody you trust says, hey, yeah, that's fine.
Is there a website? Is there something that is a tool on the internet that you can post the link, so you copy and paste it into it, and it does like a quick overview of it? I know we talked about bots in Discord, but is there something that people can go to on a web platform as well?
So I'm aware of some things that you can do for files, right? So if you have a file, you're maybe suspicious about
Google
it.
Transparency report. Thank you. Sorry, mate. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. So yeah, that is one, and often Google, if you're getting to something via search, Google can tell you. They'll sometimes put a little interstitial page like, "Yo, this is a little. We've had reports about theft coming from this domain," or something like that. But if you have a file, you can upload it to. I think there's one called VirusTotal, which will run it through like 60 different virus scanners and tell you if there are any positives found. But Google Transparency Report is a good option. They don't catch everything, though. So if you are like, if somebody goes to the length where they're like, I'm going to make a working tool and I'm going to get you to the point where like you're going to sign a Metamask transaction, but you're not savvy enough to be able to, by looking at what I'm asking you to sign, realize that like that's the one transaction that's going to send your Z1 to me.
Right.
Yeah, like you really kind of have to. You either have to, one, be technically savvy, or two, rely on people you trust to tell you whether something is a scam or not. And as these things grow in value, you have to worry about sites themselves getting hacked. So if somebody hacks Zstats or Know Your Horses or any of these things, and gets you to sign a transaction that transfers your most expensive horse, like that's an avenue you may want to worry about. So even on sites that you trust now, paying attention when it pops up that MetaMask sign prompt and kind of like remembering what it looked like, right? Like, so I think know your horses is like, you're signing a random number to log in. And if the next time you go there, it wants you to sign a big blob that looks like code, that's a clue that like, maybe I'm not going to do that. So it's really, I think, upping your level of knowledge around what looks normal there and what's not normal there. And then right after this hack happened, there was I was concerned that if anybody gets you to sign the text Zed.run in all caps in MetaMask, regardless of what site you're on, that's your login to log into the Zed Run website. Now, once you're in, you can't do much having just signed that transaction, but they could rename your stable. They could change the Discord that's linked to your stable, and that may allow a social engineering attack. So that's something to be aware of. Do not sign that all caps Zed.run on any site but Zed.run itself. Yeah.
That's very interesting. It's something that I wasn't aware of. And I've been sitting here thinking about all of this. And look, I'm sure there's people out there that are probably just as scared as me looking into this going, I am so far behind security. Let's take a breath. Let's reduce the anxiety. Let's look at this for what it is. And you need to look at every part of what you're going to do from now on as a risk versus reward. I do believe the next thing I'm going to do is go head down to JB Hi-Fi and go and buy a laptop, and anything that isn't related to actually racing my horses is going to be done on that. Is that as safe as you can get? Like all of Discord's going to go from there. All of my lip clinking is going to go from there. It's not going to be an expensive one, but it's going to be my communication tool. And then I'm just going to essentially run my races on my main screen. Is that the best thing moving forward? Or can they get into your IP address and your Wi-Fi and get in anyway? And
I mean that is a good question, right? Like, so say you have your brand new laptop, you put your MetaMask on there, and that's it, and that's the only place you have that MetaMask. I
was thinking about the other way, not putting MetaMask on the laptop.
Oh, okay,
so
gotcha.
Never logging into anything to do with cryptocurrency or anything on that laptop. And then all of my clicks, links happen there. My Discords are only on there.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, the flip side.
Yeah, however you do it, kind of segregating your MetaMask to a device that's the only thing you use it for, that's pretty safe if you keep up the security updates. Because if you put off those security updates, if you're like anybody and you sometimes are in the middle of something and Windows is like, hey, we got an update for you, that you may be opening yourself to attacks if you postpone that, especially if you postpone it for weeks, because people will just scan the entirety of the internet looking for machines that have not had their updates and are thus vulnerable. Depending on the password you use for your MetaMask, if your MetaMask is locked and someone gets the kind of raw storage that backs that MetaMask, if you use a strong password there, they may still not be able to access it, right? If you use a password like ABC123 because you're tired of typing it every time you unlock your MetaMask, that'll take 2 seconds for them to open up, and then they have your private key. So that's kind of assuming the worst case scenario, but that is an additional thing you can do, is to have a strong password on your MetaMask, even though it's a pain in the ass to type. Essentially, the only thing that matters in passwords is length. So you can make it something that you can easily remember, and as long as it's long, that's fine. Don't make it entirely composed of things that someone could guess about you. So like, don't make it like you and your wife's birthday and like your kid's name, even though that's long. So it would take a long time to brute force. But if somebody's going to put all of the dates they know about you and all of the other kind of social information they know about you in there, they may be able to get it from that. So in terms of offering like a minimum length for a strong MetaMask password, I'd have to look, but longer is certainly better, even if it's memorable to you. So it doesn't have to be random characters. I think that's actually worse, because then you're going to write it on a Post-it note next to your monitor and someone's going to find it. All right. So
right here.
yeah. Long and memorable to you is totally fine. Because awesome. You're making it harder for the automated programs that try every combination of letters. You're making it so instead of taking, for an 8-character password, maybe it takes minutes or hours or days. For a 12-character password or a 16-character password, it's going to start to take months or years. So it goes up. It's exponential. It goes up very quickly. So that's maybe one of the best things you can do is just long passwords.
Let's not start putting what we usually use as passwords in the chat, guys, even as a joke. Let's stay away from that, mate. Bo, that was epic. We are definitely going to have to catch up again and have some more chat. This is something that I'm going to continue to try and educate the community and myself in that matter about. I think it's really important in terms of safety for Zed moving forward and the community. So I really appreciate your time. I'm sure the community really appreciates your time as well in coming on and sharing all of those tips and tricks. So please, everyone, take a moment to thank Bo for coming on and sharing a lot of time and a lot of information for everyone.
Happy to do it. Yeah, I also want to put together just a quick little guide in HTML form that everybody can refer to, because that'll be better than skimming an hour-long video with lots of
Amazing,
dense information in it.
We're gonna hook up. I'll put that on my Discord, my website, everywhere. Cybersecurity is very important. We're gonna hook up and figure out some of those bots that you were talking about as well, and we'll grow as a community from this. We won't let it break it down. We'll get stronger and better, and we will get through it. So,
awesome.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it.
If anybody has specific questions or if they want to argue about the advice or anything, I'm on Discord, BG number 3333. Super easy to remember. And happy to continue the conversation there if people are desperate for answers.
I might actually set up a specific cybersecurity in my Discord channel as well. Please jump in there, Bo. And cool. This can be an opportunity for people to keep conversation going. Like you said, talk about different ways and different things, and we can all get stronger together from there.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Bo.
Yep.
Really appreciate it, mate.
Thanks for having me on.